I have changed up everything on YouTube. I have a, oh look, yeah, got tired of it. Once in 10-year event. So let's see here. I don't seem to be able to go live on my laptop anymore because they want a phone number. And this is doing this, which I can't figure out how to make it just be a picture of me and not my whole, not my, I don't know. I'm apparently challenged. And now, is there any way to make that happen? Hello, whoever you are. Anyway, Crime Stoppers, this is strange to me, so I'm fooling around, and maybe I'll just delete this after a while, but let's see. Let's start off with this. This is Ephesians chapter 6. Let's see here. It says, I'm going to start at 6:11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Speaking of standing, I have some documents that will give you standing. Okay, and I'm going to put a video down below in the comments or someplace, and you guys can tell me what's missing, because something's missing. And I can't talk too much about it, but anyway, you'll see. It's a very short thing, and I'm waving to my boy. Yeah. Here's the thing. Once you know your name, they don't want to know your name. They don't want to hear from you. All right, so, and I'm going to read you from Ecclesiastes. Okay, and we'll start off with, this is 5:8. And, they've monkeyed around with this in the Bible. And I wish I've sent my Bibles away because I thought I was getting on an airplane, but not. What is it? I can't remember what it is. The Catholic Bible, the one that the Catholics use, that has all kind of cool extra books in there and some minor changes. If thou seest the oppression of the poor, this right here is not there. If thou seest the oppression, well, it's not true. It's not 5:8 anymore. I think it's part of 7, or they moved it around so you don't find it easily. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, or on the North American continent, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. In other words, the officers get officers watching them. Now, here's the thing. We have not been given the right of violence to defend ourselves against this corporation. You have to call other people in the corporation to do your violence for you. In other words, we're not going to be, well, it remains to be seen. We may be taking, and when I say we, I mean they, because I'm not taking part in this. I'm going to sit back and watch from a distance. But there are many people who are prophesizing that there are going to be on TV, not just it will be televised. There will be those that are from the neck until dead. And it's coming because these people have committed treason, genocide. The list is so long. Okay, so I'm going to read to you from some things that I've done. See? I want the camera to be on because it's so small you cannot see. But this is a document that I made, but I certainly didn't make it myself. I got this from another guy, livingsovereign.org. I, the living man, that's going to be the generic version, Come in peace as a citizen of the Republic of the United States of America, a United States national, not as a United States citizen. Per the Constitution of the United States and per the Constitution for the United States of America, and if you'll notice, there's a difference there. There's one that's the United States in caps. See, this is a pain. I got to figure out how to change this so that I can get to the... And see, I tap all over the screen, and it won't let me. So if somebody can send me an email or put in the comments, I'm on a Samsung Galaxy, and this is the first time I've ever seen this format with me in the little circle. And I was trying to... Yep, I can move it around, but I cannot make it change so that it doesn't do what it's doing right now. Very annoying. Okay, anyhow, so because normally I'd be able to do that and it'd be on the full screen, but oh well. All right, so where was I? United States is capitalized, right? So the Constitution of the United States, that's one Constitution. And by the way, the bar, and I didn't get to do it today because, like I said, watch the video below. But generally what you want to do is accept the oath to the bar, the judge's oath to the bar, and then accept the bar's oath to the Constitution. Because they're not allowed to do what they do if they're not preserving our rights. If they're not, what's the word I want? No piece of paper gave you any rights. God gave you rights. You were a creation of God. And I'll be doing the thing for my personal life claim that mentions the fact that I'm just the spirit inhabiting this body. Inadamas. Okay, anyway, per the Constitution of the United States and per the Constitution for the United States of America, the only letter or the only word in that sentence or phrase that's capitalized is America. United States is United and States are both. United is an adjective and States is in lowercase. Okay, the supreme law of the land are our constitutions. And now what we did is we replaced our king with the Constitution, in the words of Thomas Paine. But let's see here. Article 6, Clause 1. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 17. Article 4, Section 4. Article 2, Section 4. And Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2 and 3. Okay, I'm not going to read... Well, actually, I can. I have it right here, but I'm just going to go from memory, because if it's on your document, you better know what's on your document. So if they ask you what it means, you can say, it means this, this, and this. Okay. Article 6, Clause 1. Everybody be friends. We all friendly, but if we not can be friendly, what we're going to do is jury trial. Okay, so that is the power of the jury trial, to settle disputes. And then the Article of Confederations. The Articles of Confederation are mentioned there in Article 6, Clause 1. So maybe you should take a look at the Articles of Confederation, not just the Constitution. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. You buggers get 10 square miles in this place called Washington, D.C. on the Potomac. That's it. 10 square miles. Not a mas. Nothing more than that. So if you're not using that if you're outside of that 10 square miles, you ain't got no fucking jurisdiction, motherfuckers. You ain't got it. Oh, yes, you do, because we use postal zones and postal zip codes and zone improvement and so forth. So because we did the zone improvement, I'm considered to be at this house in 96793, which is Wailuku, which is technically part of that 10 square. No. So leave it off or use the four corners rule to box off whatever you did. I did that right in front of a clerk today. Oh, do I? I better have that. I better have that handy. Oh, I don't have that handy? That's naughty on my part. Because that was the whole point of this freaking video. Alright, I obviously am going to have to make another one. Because here's this. Here's this. What did I do with that? When I've got mountains of paperwork all around me. But anyway, I got the thing that I wanted. Oh, how you like my spiffy new Aloha shirt? But I don't have that handy. That's just silly, is what that is. Because, like I said, that was the whole point of this video. Alright, we'll skip it for the time being. As soon as I turn off the video is when I'll find it. I didn't put it there. I thought See, look, I have 2 mountains of paperwork right here, and that was one of the things, because I was going to do 100th Monkey story time. But let's just stick to this one for the time being. See, in the one I did, I wrote my address on right over here, and then I got the stamp that it was filed over here because, well, actually, I'm not going to say that out loud because it'll get me in trouble and get the other person in trouble too. But bottom line is she understood that we're not held to the higher standard that the lawyers are when we put our documents in. So she was like, hey, you got to at least put your freaking address on here. And I was like, oh. She goes, and put your phone number. I'm like, I don't have a phone number. Well, at least put the case number on. I'm like, all right, I put the case number. And then she goes, you put the case number on the right, not on the left. And then you got to name the document. So anyway, I did all this stuff, and she accepted it because she was cool like that. And I don't have it, but I have the stamp. I have the raised thing. I don't have it over there. How is this possible? I was getting the Bible quotes together, so I got to come back tomorrow or the next day. Anyhow, let's get back to this. So, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, that's the 10 square miles thing. Article 4, Section 4. I am guaranteed a Republican form of government. Period. A Republican form of government. Article 2, Section 4. You violate your oath, and we can come after you. Do I get to come after them? No, I don't get to come after them. The highest that regard them come after them. The others, there be higher than they. So your circuit court is the lowest court in the land. That is a puny judge. The next one up is your district courts and your appellate courts. But, oh, wait a second here. Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2 and 3 basically says the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction because you're in the republic, not in the democracy. Okay, you are to protect me in my common law capacity. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America without the United States that the foregoing is true and correct. That is 28 U.S.C. 1746, Clause 1. You should know it. And right now, here's notice to the world. I have a document. Oh, I know where it is. I know what I do with it. Now I just got to find it. Right here. Because I'm so organized like that. This is the document I was looking for. I put it back in my, I don't have a briefcase anymore, I have a backpack. All right, so you can look at me, look at my chicken scratch. There's the four corners rule right there, where I took out the 96793 is on the page. And if you guys want to write me letters, that would be the place to send it. That's a private mailbox. I have the right to have a private mailbox. And then look over here. Oh, look, file stamp. Oh, look, the file stamp. Now, here are the documents. And here, look, I'm going to, that's the document I just read you. Now, notice to the world, my friends, the Minnesota Secretary of State says that I have an assumed name. I pay $50 for that assumed name. I am not that name. I am the name holder. And I thought, like a dumbass, and I said this in court, like a dumbass, and everybody just smiled at me like, you dumbass, you don't know your fucking name. Dollar bet, I'm guarantee you lawyers and fucking prosecutors and judges exchange dollars, because that motherfucker right there thinks he knows so much shit, he doesn't know his name. And but today I figured out my name. Anyhow, Rogers, the family name comes first, then comes the given name. Okay, the 100 Monkey was given the name Ben Hosea. I'm a Hosea going back from generations back. My father was Hosea. His father was Hosea. They're all Hoseas. Some of them Ben Hosea, some Nahaz Hosea, other Hoseas. Okay, so this was done by Rogers Ben Hosea doing business as the all caps name. This is a business. This is a trust. This is a lot of things. But it ain't you. Okay, they want you to say it's you. They want you to claim that thing, but you ain't claiming that thing. It's not you. You are a different person than that. And I have a birth certificate to prove that fact. The birth certificate says that Ben Hosea Rogers, the all caps name, was birthed with an E, because this is maritime law, on the 13th day of March. Ben Hosea, the living man, Rogers, House of Rogers, that'd be the House of Rogers, where I came in through, right? The soul, the spirit that I am, the living soul that got into this body. That was first in time, first in line, most right. Oh, do I have that? Yes, I do. Hold on just a second. Oh, except I'll have to scroll around to find it. But let's just for fun. Oh, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Go over here. And then go over here. And then I have a link to the Maxims. And this is familyguardian.org, Maxims of Law. And to make it fast, I'm going to type in first. And then it's going to take me to all the ones that say first. And the maxim of law, and this is the other thing, learn the legal maxims, learn the legal maxims, learn the legal maxims, because they no can say jack doodoo caca when you throw up a maxim. You want to talk about case law and precedents and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. But maxims, look up the definition of maxims. It's like axioms in algebra, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Not up for fucking debate. Inside that rectangle, those corners are going to be 90-degree angles, or it ain't a rectangle. And by the way, squares are rectangles. If you got a triangle, that's going to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, not up for debate. If you want to fuck around and say that you can have 200 degrees in a triangle, well, you're stupid, and they know that. Okay, well, anybody that knows math does. But earlier in time is stronger in right. First in time, first in right. The living man was first in line. I was conceived. I know when I was conceived. I'm not going to tell you that. I have it in well, actually, I'll probably tell you that when I get to my live life claim, and I got to figure out how to share screen. And by the way, on my computer, what they want now is a phone number. They got to get a phone number from me in order for me to stream. But anyway, what is first in is truest, and what comes first in time is best in law. That's another legal maxim. The living man came first in time, right? My birthday, I just had it. 59 of them have gone by. March 7th, the legal thing was this fiction, this all caps name. Don't call it a straw man. That will head you right into problems. So what you want to call it is a in leges, the trust, the fictional entity, the business entity, because it's a trade or business. And you'll notice that when you get letters from the IRS, they talk about trade or business. It's a trade name. So you can trade. They gave it to you for your benefit, but you don't own the thing. They do. United States Corporation owns it. Okay, so me saying that I was the beneficial owner, blah, blah. I might be the beneficiary of the trust, but I wasn't the beneficial owner because I don't own the thing. I didn't create it. And that's another maxim that I got to look up somewhere, and I don't think it's in here. But basically, the person who creates gets the benefit. That's why you have patents. Okay. Got to start knowing the law, guys. Simple as that. All right, and that's the thing. Go back and, thanks, I got 4 likes and only 2 people watching. But go back and hit this thing at 2 times speed and share it with friends, because I'm going to give you some information that's going to blow your mind. And it's going to make it so that they leave you, well, they don't leave you alone, but they'll be like, okay, this one we don't want to fuck with too much because it might have teeth and bite us. And it's not going to bite, it's going to come from another agency, like further up the ladder. Okay. This right here is the United States Department of Homeland Security. Can I get it up there where you can see it? Yes, there it is. See, this should be on the big screen, not on this little circle. But anyway, there's the Department of Homeland Security. That is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Had a lawyer lie to my face today when I told him that I sent in a Freedom of Information Act request, which is what this is. And you can look it up. And I asked them, oh, and look, see, I put the case number on right in front of her, and I put it in the wrong place again. She goes, damn it, put it on the other side. I'm like, but that's not going to be the side that gets stamped. Anyway, like I said, this clerk was cool as cool can be. Okay, they know me down there. In fact, I have another friend that I was friends with that clerk since high school, and like I said, a couple of these clerks took me aside and schooled me a little bit about things. And I'm not at liberty to say everything because it was told to me in confidence. Let's see here. But what this basically says is, your Freedom of Information Act, we got no records that Ben Hosea Rogers, the all caps name right there, is a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizen, oh, by the way, citizen, synonymous with employee. So get their EIN number since they're treating you like an employee. So you're in a state of voluntary servitude as an employee of the company. Like when you go McDonald's, if the boss of McDonald's tells you wear a funny hat, you got to wear a funny hat. If you're working at Sonic and they tell you put on a pair of roller skates, you got to put on a pair of roller skates. Simple. By the way, we just got a Sonic on Maui. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. It's like, oh, it's the best food ever. I was in Arizona, across from a Sonic in Arizona. I saw like one car pull up in there in like 3 days. So I was like, how do these guys stay in business? All right, this is a document you want right here. And I will send you links to various people because there are people that know oh so much more than me when it comes to the assumed name. Okay, so who's the assumed name? The assumed name is Ben Hosea Rogers in all caps. That's the thing that's on my birth certificate. That was born on the 13th, or excuse me, not born, birthed on the, words matter, on the 13th of March. And by the way, if you'll notice on this document, I put a C behind it because just so happens I am the copyright holder. Okay. And I have evidence of that. See, facts and evidence. This is what you need. Here it is. This is the document that says my copyrights. You'll see on there, what does it say right there? Yes, it says my copyrights. You'll see on there that I own Crouton Ramon and I own Ben Hosea Rogers and all the derivatives. In other words, Ben H. Rogers, Rogers Ben H. All that, uppercase, lowercase, title case. This is good for 10 years, costs you $50. Best $50, and then get the other thing, which is, and I don't have it printed out, I will have that printed shortly, which is the statement of existence that puts you in good, it's a statement of good standing, which allows you, if you're dumb enough, to stand in court. Okay, don't go to court. Now, name holders. Look at the name holders. Oh, there's 3 name holders there, not just me. It's my sons and me. They all hold that name. So now they can't say, and see, it's all last name first, family name first. See, from slave days, from the days you went to slave school, just like I did, they told you, put your first name, and in fact, drop the given name, because most people, Sally Mae, right, Ben Hosea, Ben Isaiah, Julian Marcus, I can't think of any. Robert, Michael, Michael John, John Michael. Those are all given names. But they tell you, get rid of that, and now you're John Doe or Michael Roberts or, whatever it is. No middle name. Okay, because you don't have a middle name. You have a given name. So on all your documents, and if you look at the license, which, oh, by the way, I'm finally going to go surrender that thing, because it turns out your driver's license, although it's expired and they can hit you and fine you for being on a driver's license or driving on a driver's license, and yeah, you're going to talk about traveling and so forth, but no, let's just say it's a driver's license because you're licensed to. And what does license mean? Oh, you're doing what which would otherwise be illegal. It is not illegal to convey yourself from point A to point B anywhere on the North American continent. To include, I'm talking about Mexico and Canada, but especially in those United States, North American continent part, you have the ability to convey yourself, in the conveyance of the day, right? Simple. So you're traveling in the conveyance of the day. All right. But if you don't give that license back to them, you still have the nexus there. And it turns out they're going to probably try to give you the license so that you'll use it, so that you'll cause problems. Oh, and by the way, using the name, and see, this is the thing. The name of the thing is not the thing named. Yusuf told me that 5 years ago, and I didn't get it. I wasn't smart enough to get it. The guy that told me about this way back in September. Okay, now, once you get this thing, you got to send it into the FTC because you got to let people know. And guess what? The Law Enforcement Information Network is owned by the FTC because all crimes are commercial. Okay, couple of maxims or a couple of things we got to get through our fat slave heads. Ain't no money. There is no money. And then you got to know some stuff. There's some videos you might want to watch about this money right here and what all those symbols mean. Where we try to elevate ourselves to godhood in the worst way, because it's Moloch these guys are worshiping. It's as simple as that. And they want you to, the father of lies wants you to fall down into this fallen world and worship money and kill for money and. Okay, so you got to let the Federal Trade Commission know. And you just write them a letter that basically says, I'm going to give them my whole life claim, plus this document, so that they know it. Oh, wait, let me do this, so that I'm using this to intimidate my friends and impress my enemies. My file number, and you should have this in your head, so that if you are walking around without an ID, you can tell the cop, run this file number, right, with this name. Okay, the file number with the name Ben Hosea Rogers in all caps, oh look, I don't have it anywhere, I promise, is 1333, okay, 1333. All of the file numbers start with that because it's the 333 is the code section. Anyway, 1333 048400023. That's my file number. That's the number that tells them, leave this monkey alone. This monkey might throw some poo at you. So step back. So the idea being is that what you want to do is make sure that you get that and you get it filed. Okay, within 2 to 3 weeks, they will file that number for you. And then guess what? You get all kind of fun benefits. Like apparently when you go to the airport, I haven't tested this out yet, but I'm about to, you can go skip the line where they violate your rights and go through the line with where you just walk through and sign in. Okay, but you got to have your documents with you. And the best document to have with you is that thing called a passport. So when they run the number on the passport, they really will have the fact that, yeah, don't mess with this monkey. Okay, but this document, apparently the assumed name certificate, is a pretty potent piece of certificate. Let me see if I read my number correctly. Been fooling around with this memory course. Let's see here. Yes, the file number was 133330484000023. That's my file number. Oh, and the number on my my birth number was 1964, the year I was born. And let's see, then it's 6021. Oh, 6021. I can see it, and it's not coming. It is 804. That's what it is. Okay. So, you got to have your numbers. You got to know your numbers. I know my Social Security number by heart. I've known that since I was a little boy because my mom made me memorize it, along with my address and so forth. And it was really easy back then because you can memorize stuff when you're 5 years old, simply and easily. Okay. A long time ago, I made a video that said there's paperwork to be done. Here is some of the paperwork that needs to be done. Oh, and also go here. I would normally see, and I don't know if you guys are chatting or what, because like I said, I don't know how I got into this mode, and it will not let me not be in this mode where I'm in the little circle. But so look later, and I will put it in the show notes. Let's see here. It is livingsovereign.org. Simple. Okay. He talks about the 1817 notice. That's this thing. Okay. Make one of your own. I put my name in there, by the way. I put I, Ben Hosea Rogers. And see, what I probably should have done is put I, Rogers Ben Hosea. See, because you get more information, you get more information, you get more information. Because when you walk in the court, state your name, Rogers Ben Hosea. I'm here. Oh, wait. This I'm going to take notes, or take it out of my notes. But basically, I'm here not to argue, with all rights reserved, without recourse, to settle this matter today, hopefully. And I am the name holder. I'm not here to argue. I have some questions, though, and you might ask them, hey, what's your EIN number? Hey, are you guys registered? Is anybody else doing registered? Because otherwise, I'm going to need to know who you are. Okay. Does anybody here have a contract with me, the living man? Does anybody have a contract? Hey, clerk of the court, you got a contract? Hey, judge, you got a contract? Hey, prosecutor, you got a contract with me? Nobody has a contract? Let the record reflect that these men stood silent, or women, men and women, who stood silent when I asked them for a contract. All right, does anybody, okay, so nobody's got a contract. Does anybody claim me as property? Does anybody claim me as property? The living man? Does anybody claim the name Ben Hosea Rogers as property? Do you claim the name Ben Hosea Rogers as property? Nobody claims the name Ben Hosea Rogers as property. How about the man that's standing here? Do you claim me as property? They don't want to hear you. They will throw you the fuck out of court. I did that in Arizona, and it did not help me. It got me, two sheriffs basically picked me up. I was in handcuffs at the time, and carried me out of the courtroom. Right? I mean, like, literally just picked me up and carried. Oh, wait, I was not in handcuffs at the time. I was pretty sure I was, at that point, I was not cuffed. I can't remember if I was or not. Anyway, but I do remember that I got picked up and carried out of there, and then they put me in an orange jumpsuit, and then 143 days later, I got out. Okay, never had an indictment, never had a warrant. They so naughty. Oh, and here's the other thing. If you're talking like this and asking if anybody claims you as property, or if anybody has a contract with you, or that you're there. Oh yeah, you are not appearing, by the way. Living man does not appear. You are there specially, not generally. Okay, so when you cross the bar, I'm here specially, not generally. All rights reserved, without recourse, to settle this matter today. Not here to argue. I might have some questions. I am the name holder for the name that you called, because they're calling the all caps name. Or in my case, they've now changed it to capito diminutia minima, or no, wait, media. Minima is when you use no capital letters at all. Media is when they do title case, and maxima is when they do all caps. Okay, media is, they still own you. You're still an employee. You're still part of the corporation. They still do what the fuck they want with you. Okay, so once you start learning that stuff, and once you figure out that it's Rogers Ben Hosea that showed up, not Ben Hosea Rogers, see, you can hear the difference there. The indem sonaz is gone. What is indem sonaz? Look that up. It means sounds same. Okay, so when you start talking like this, and they're gonna, and asking for contracts, and asking if you're the property, and maybe asking to see the bid bond and the payment bond, and the what is it? Bid bond, payment bond, and there's another P bond. Bid bond, payment bond. Wow. There's a third bond there, and I don't remember what the name of it, but it starts with a P. Anyhow, they might ask you, are you crazy? So your answer, if you answer yes, well, you're going to go get a psych evaluation. If you answer no, you're going to get a psych evaluation. So to avoid the psych evaluation, what you might want to say is there anyone here that's qualified to make that determination based on a single answer? They'll probably just keep going. Okay, the other thing you can say is, and if they do recommend that you get a psych evaluation, then understand your 4 ways to respond. There's 4 ways to respond to a presentment, including, or any offer, including the verbal offer in court for a psych evaluation. I would have said, sure, I'll get a psych evaluation when you show me a freaking warrant, and when you show me an indictment, neither of which you did to start this whole thing, which is a violation of my 6th Amendment rights, and a violation of Title 18 at 242. 241 is conspiracy against rights. 242 is deprivation of rights under color of law. They're pretending that they have law, when actually all they have is code and statute. Okay, so basically, ask a question with a question. So anyway, 4 ways to respond to resentment. 1, you owe me $100. Pay the $100. That's that's a conditional acceptance or unconditional acceptance. Like, okay, yeah, I owe it. Here's your $100. Okay, conditional acceptance. $100. Well, show me a bill or show me that I do owe the $100. Or I'll give you the $100 when you complete the work. I said that I'd give you $100 when you mowed the lawn. You never mowed the lawn, or you only mowed half the lawn. So finish mowing the lawn, and I'll give you the $100. Silence. Silence agrees. So then you have to know process or administrative process where you do first you make the declaration, and then in your declaration, and I understand that people don't do this, and I'm guilty of this in my early ones, but I don't do it anymore. In your declaration, when you say that you have, did I just make a mouse sound? Anyway, when you say that you don't live up to what I've put in here, then there's going to be a penalty. If you default, then this and this is going to happen. Don't just, put stuff in there. Like, okay, if you don't finish mowing the lawn, not only am I going to pay you, am I not going to pay you the $20, you're going to owe me $20 for making my lawn look half-assed in front of the homeowners association. And if I get in any trouble with the homeowners association, it's going to be on you because I was supposed to pay you $100 to make this lawn look, presentable. So, put whatever it is in there. If you don't respond, if you respond with silence, then the statements that I made are considered to be true. That you don't have a contract with me. That those aren't your children. That I'm not your property. That I'm not a United States citizen, but a United States national. Right? So put your statements in there. Okay. Then send it to them. And I like 30-30-30, but you ain't got that kind of time. That's a whole season. So see in your documents, 21-10-5. That's the way they do it usually. Unless they're rushing you, where they'll say respond in 10 days or respond in 14 days. But usually it's 21, or if you want to go common law, it'll be 30, 10, and then 5. So 30 is you send the first document, then you send it to them again. First notice, second notice, a gentleman gives notice, Satan gives notice. So you give the second notice, which is just a copy of the thing that you sent, and you write second notice on it, and you don't really have to do anything more than that. Or you might want to say with a cover letter that basically says, I know this is through no fault of your own. I'm sure, stuff happens and you didn't get to it. So just in case, I see you didn't respond to my presentment, so you're in default. So this is your opportunity to cure the default. It's the same thing with negotiable instruments. When they send you or they don't accept it, they need to tell you what why they're returning it or why they're not accepting it, and give you an opportunity to cure the fault or the defect. And you'll have at least 10 days to cure the defect. I can't remember. It's 3, 3, 3, and 1. Okay, because they're considering that there's going to be a Sunday in there someplace. All right, and then final is the notice of default, and your notice of default should say, "Hey, I sent this thing to you twice. If you look at this document, it basically says that this, and this, and that I had required performance, and you didn't perform with silence." Okay, so still back to the 4 presentments: unconditional, conditional, silence, and then and that's what you do when they silence. If you respond with silence, that's what they're going to do to you. And then finally is just say no, which makes you belligerent, right? No, I don't owe you the $100. Who are you, right? Okay, lawyers do this all the time, where you just say no. Okay, you're in dishonor. You're being dishonorable, right? You should respond with a condition, right? You want to be conditional. You want to try and work things out with your brother or your sister. And again, that comes back to Article 6, Clause 1 of the Constitution. Everybody be friends, but can't work them out. You guys got to go to a trial by a jury of your peers, right? Not a jury trial, or excuse me, not a trial by jury, but a jury trial. Okay. Wow, we're rolling along here. How long has this thing been going? 40 minutes already. And of course, because I'm making videos, everybody make noise. Okay, here is a monster packet. Oh, look, and I even put registered mail, learned how to do registered mail. And I sent this to Anthony Blinken, and I sent this to Josh Green when he was lieutenant governor. He's now governor. That's just scary as hell. Hawaii is definitely a democracy. Jesse White as Secretary of State of Illinois. Secretary of State of Illinois does not accept registered mail. I think I said that before. All right, so notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. This is the declaration of truth and accessory oath, repudiation and revocation of U.S. corporate citizenship, declaration of status, repudiation of false status as U.S. citizen, inferred, asserted, assumed, or derived by false pretense or fraud. And now, it's not just me. See, when I sent that in, I didn't have this. I now have a document from Department of Homeland Security, Immigration, or U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. You would figure that they would have a record of me being a United States citizen. I'm not, because I'm a national of the United States, or a United States national, or a citizen of the United States of America, USA. Remember when all those guys, the Trumpers, are all USA, USA? Where does it say USA when you go down to vote? No, what they say is United States. You're voting under United States. You're a United States citizen. You're an employee. You're a voluntary servant. You are employed, whether you like it or not, in a trade or business in the United States. Whatever it is you're doing. Unless you're on the private side. So that's why you want a private membership association. If you're on the public side, you are a voluntary servant. You are an indentured servant until such time as you tell them, I don't want to be an indentured servant anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna read it to you. This thing goes on and on and on. Unnecessary, right? There's multiple things in here. I've got court documents and all kind of stuff attached to it, but the main thing that I should have just attached to it was that real simple 2 pieces of paper, and then the other 2 pieces of paper from the Minnesota Secretary of State, and a statement that basically says, I don't want to be, it's my wish to be a United States of America, a citizen of the United States of America, not a citizen of the United States. Done. And if you want to get more funky, let's read this off. And I'll say it slow so you can write it down. Assuming I can find the thing, because my folders have become full. Because they're full because these things are going to empty out, but I have to send notices to lots of different people. Secretary of State, IRS. See, because I sent to the IRS, and the IRS is naughty. They're not doing their job, apparently, and they're not letting anybody know that I've done this. All right, so super simple. I, Rogers Ben Hosea, being duly sworn, hereby declare my intention to be a national but not a citizen of the United States. Done. And put the United States in all caps. That's it. Or you can make it a little longer. I, Ben Hosea, being duly sworn, hereby declare, or duly affirm, if you don't want to swear. Don't swear. Hereby declare my intention to be a American national, but not a citizen of United States, right? So making me a national of United States, not a United States citizen. Done. You want to get longer? I, Rogers Ben Hosea, do swear under penalty of perjury of the United States in accordance with 28 U.S.C. 1746, Clause 1, with United States of America, my intention to be a national with God-given constitutionally protected rights. You do not want to be a constitutor. A constitutor is somebody that owes the debts of another. So don't be a constitutor. Don't be saying you have constitutional rights. You ain't got no constitutional rights. No fucking piece of paper gives you anything. God gave you your rights. This is why they want you to be an atheist. This is why they don't want you being a Christian. It's a Christian nation. Our laws are based on Christian principles, and we are on the land. We are the only fucking nation on the planet, on the land. That's why everybody against us. Well, not everybody. The rest of the countries are pretty sad for us right now, actually. But when I'm talking about the elites and the deep staters, they want to get rid of the American people. Right? These fly in the ointment. We are a pain in the ass. And armed! Worse than everything. So poison them with multiple poisoning events. If you can't get them to... Right? Because here's what they did before, is they tricked us into shooting each other. And that's probably... There's a good chance they trick us into doing that again. Because there's going to be a bunch of pissed off people that... Anyway, we'll see how that turns out. But wasn't it great that the Catholics got the Protestants to kill 600,000 of each other Some of the best men in the South, some of the best men in the North. Right? Brave men, men that would pick up arms for their ideals and get them to kill each other. Right? Go listen to One of the Living. Right? We're fucked if we can't get along. And see, people are waking up because everybody, I know I'm out of teeth, I'm out of fingers and toes, counting the people that I know, not just on the internet, that have died due to climate change. Okay, it's not funny, but come on. It's ridiculous that they're trying to say that, oh, it's climate change. Oh, did you know that taking naps could kill you? Anyway, let me start over with this thing. Okay, I, Ben Jose Rogers, do swear under penalty of perjury of the United States of America in accordance with 28 U.S.C. 1746, Clause 1, to be a national with God-given rights, with God-given constitutionally protected rights, and not a citizen of United States, in a condition of voluntary servitude, under the scope and purview of the 1871 United States Constitution's 14th Amendment. That's it. Why you gotta send all this stuff when that will do, right? And I went all into freaking all kind of stuff, and on and on and on. This came from a man, I was following the advice of a guy named David Straight, who turns out to be provocateur. I'm sure well-meaning, but it's short. Whenever you do, it's short. It's one page. It's not one page then. Okay, it's 2 pages. They don't give you 23 pages of documents. They give you 2 pages. Oh, look, here it is again, 2 pages. All right, get it done in 3 pages. And get 2 other humans, 2 other men, not men with wombs, but men, there's a reason for that, to witness your document. Okay. What was the other thing I wanted to cover in here? Oh, I was going to read you this. I'm just going to read it to you. I'm not going to show it to you because I haven't got it printed out yet. But I put a peace flag on it. I didn't put our war banner on there. And let me just read you this. Let's see here. And look, I can open it fast and easy. Right there. This is, and I put mine, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do one on, what? What in the actual fuck? Okay, hold on a second. There seems to be a issue with opening this document all of a sudden. Wow, they messing with me. Or I'm messing with me. All right, let's see if I can get it another way, because OpenOffice doesn't seem to want to show it to me. Maybe it's because it's in the trash, I don't know. Because I made multiple. All right, there it is. All right, this is, I made a letter version and I made a legal version because it's a legal document. And guess what? The Paperwork Reduction Act doesn't apply to living, breathing flesh. All right, let's see if I can find the legal sized one, because when I tried to open the legal sized one, he never like open. Oh no, there it is. All right, so they're both there. Okay, just some kind of filing error. All right, hold on a second here. So let me just, I can just read. I'm going to make it big so I can read it to you. Okay, I, Ben Hosea of the House of Rogers, in parentheses, Rogers Ben Hosea, am living, breathing flesh and blood with sound body and mind. I am non-decedent. This is important. That's the live claim. You ain't dead. You ain't dead and lost at sea. With living soul. That's the thing that's created equal, by the way. All men are created equal. The souls are created equal. The bodies are all different. But the souls, the creation of God, they're all equal. We're all considered equal. We're all part of the one big thing, the 1,000 points of light, the bajillions and bajillions of us that are here. See, what we want is 100 billion of us, and then the consciousness rises. Got close to 10 billion and the consciousness started rising. So then they decided, well, we need to get rid of a couple of billion of these motherfuckers or they're going to take us down. And that seems to be happening all around the world, and those revolutions are not being televised. Okay, so with living soul, the creation of God. The all caps name is the creation of man. J.R.R. Tolkien. I still got to do that video because basically he was a Mason that told you the same story, except he did it fantasy fiction with elves and dwarves and Saruman and all these other guys, and the all-seeing eye. Anyhow, born live, living product. Look at the statutes and see why I use those words. Living product of the consensual union of a woman known as, and I'm not going to tell you my parents' names. And I put, in that format where it's given name of the house of, and the man known as given name of the house of, being conceived on the so-and-so day of so-and-so, and I spell it out, right, 1963, and then I was born living on the 7th day of March, 1964. Okay, and then I put in parentheses the dates written for 7 March 64. So, and like I said, I'd show you these documents, but no can. Well, actually, I probably could now that it's in this state. Wait a second here, kids. Well, I'm not going to do it because it'll take me too long to figure it out on this damn tablet. Anyhow, I'll make another one where you can actually see the document. Because if it's in this format, instead of you reading Ephesians, you could be reading this document along with me. Okay, so look forward to that at some later date when I get my shit together and figure out. But I mean, this is all brand new. This changed since the last time I was streaming. And then I tried to do it on my computer and they wouldn't let me because they want a phone number. Okay, anyway, so on the land in the county, name the county, and do it like Maui County, not County of Maui, because County of Maui is the corporation. And you weren't born in the corporation. You were born on the land. You're not lost at sea. In the sovereign country commonly called Illinois. Right? Moors will call it other things because these areas have Moorish names because the Moors were here. The western Morocco was a thing. Anyhow, and then I put C, State of Illinois, and this in all caps, Vital Records file number 112-1964-6021-804. Okay, Ben Hosea Rogers being the entity product, because you are a product, and they own you, and you're a frozen asset, and in order to unfreeze you, they got to kill you, and then they get to claim all this stuff. Because, okay, just like when I went to a rich private school, what do the rich people do? They set up trusts for their kids, so that the kid doesn't, doesn't ruin the estate or destroy the inheritance. So they just put $5,000 aside when the kid's born, or $10,000 or $20,000. Give it to a money manager, and by the time the kid's 35, and by the way, kid, that would be a child suitable for sacrifice. When the son or daughter is 30, 35, they get all the money, and it's gajillions because the thing's doing compound interest. Do some math. I mean, power of compound interest after 35, 36 years. Holy crap, they're millionaires. Just starting off with 10,000, assuming you're getting a good return. Okay, Vital Records file number, Ben Hosea Rogers being the entity product created on the 13th day of March, 1964, that's all spelled out, AD. I am American United States national, right? Get the out of there. See, and I've been putting a lot of in here. So there's no because means asymmetrical is not symmetrical. Asymptomatic means you don't have symptoms. There was a word that they learned. And then they put a mask on. Oh, my God. Face diaper. I didn't say mask. I said face diaper. Let's see. The 13th of March, 1964. I am American United States national. And then I put in parentheses, U.S. national. United States citizen. U.S. citizen. I am not. See? No United States citizen, I am not. I do not wish to be in voluntary servitude, nor, and that's two different words, not involuntary, but to be in voluntary servitude, nor to be a constitutor now or in the future. Nor did I ever knowingly / willfully wish to be in such a state, or excuse me, in such state. I inhabit Ben Hosea, the living man. That's who I inhabit. Here I am. Here, yeah, all right, look. Oh, and I'm going to give you another secret at some point, and everybody's talking about it, so it's not really a secret. But it used to be one of the secrets that you would get when you were in a club, and now it's spilled the beans, and so that now they just make it sound crazy. But there are a lot of people that are retaining their youth, and if you look at me from what happened from when I got out to now, these circles under my eyes are disappearing because I'm turning back the clock, and I'm not using a Kangen machine. Let's see here. I would be using a Kangen machine, but my Kangen machine is in Arizona, and I'm not. Okay, where was I? Interrupting my own self. Let's see here. I inhabit Ben Hosea, the living man, who does business as Ben H. Rogers / Ben Hosea Rogers, with the copyright symbol. I am the copyright and name holder thereof. See file number 1333048400023. See, because I noticed certain people be watching this. I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. Minnesota Secretary of State's, with an apostrophe S, assumed name certificate. See also, and then I put my social security number there. And I put it in two ways. I put it with the dashes and without the dashes. United States, with the apostrophe S, Social Security Administration's number. It's their number, it's not yours. Their name, not yours. They own the name. You don't own the name, and you ain't the name. What they have done successfully. I sat in jail with a bunch of, what's the word I want? And I can tell you that Sinaloa gang members who didn't know that I spoke Spanish basically were recruiting there and saying our connections go all the way to the top. Now, they didn't mention any names, so I can't say which top were they talking about. Were they talking about the governor top, or were they talking about all the way to the top of the United States Corporation? Don't know. But they were very confident when they said their connections went all the way to the top. But anyway, all of them in there voluntarily in that Wayward Boys Club that I spent 143 days with. Those guys, everybody in there, including me, voluntarily, except I made lots of noise, like, excuse me, can I see a warrant? Excuse me, this is involuntary servitude. Hey, you're holding me. And anyway, and they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. They were making money on me. Okay, so I am the copyright holder and name holder thereof. That's it. I only hold the name. I don't own the name. I have the copyright. I don't own the thing. Okay, I can control the thing with a copyright and being the name holder, but I am not the thing, and I don't own the thing. United States Corporation owns the thing. United States Corporation, through the state of Illinois, who created the bond, who created the warehouse receipt. It's not really a bond, it's a warehouse receipt for the living flesh. And then they put the number on the bottom of the thing that leads to an account that is owned by the Federal Reserve. And then you got to know those numbers. And then you look at the back of your Social Security card. There's another account there. And your Social Security number is the nexus. And my Social Security card has Ben H. Rogers on it because Grandma was trying to separate me from Ben Hosea Rogers. But what she should have been telling me, but she didn't know, although she was born before birth certificates, and so was my mother, and so was my father, because there weren't birth certificates until 1933 when this thing went bankrupt, and they decided to make us the surety for the fucking company. Which is currently bankrupt, by the way. And this is what you're seeing right now. They're bankrupting the company. They are the guys, the white hats, the dark hats. The dark hats are trying to keep the Federal Reserve from going under. The white hats are actually trying to get the currency to implode. How are they going to do it? By printing it into oblivion. And the world reserve currency status, Trump went around the world and basically set them up and told them this is what you're going to do. And then here in the not too distant future, we're not talking about years, we're talking about weeks or months, probably not months, probably just weeks. There's going to be about 162 countries that basically go, nah, we're not using those dollars anymore. Already Russia and China trading without using the US dollar. Saudi Arabia is going to start taking gold, Bitcoin, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're not going to take the US dollar. And then we're going to have a problem. It's called hyperinflation. So you had better get in your hands And all the silver that I bought has gone up substantially, and I think they're going to try and crash it at least one more time. At least once more. Get you some of these. And get you some of them dimes. And get you some quarters. Because you got to remember, there was a time when 10 pennies or 1 dime would buy you 10 cups of coffee. Now a dime doesn't, they'll look at you funny if you try to give them a dime for a tip. Because they'll call you a cheapskate. Because coffee, even the cheapest shit coffee, and you guys drink shit, oh my god, I come from Hawaii, so I'm totally spoiled. I can't drink coffee on the mainland most of the time. Because even our crap coffee is better than your coffee. But anyway, the coffee there on the mainland on the North American continent is the Hawaiians get a little annoyed when you call it the mainland because this is our mainland, right? Well, Big Island is our mainland. That's the big one. And then maybe you want to say Oahu is the mainland. But anyway, and we're just neighbor islands, but that's local politics. Anyhow, the point being that when I go to the North American continent, the coffee is crap, and the cheapest you can get it for is probably $3. And this was the thing. Well, actually, I'm not going to go to that story. But in Canada, crappy coffee, but at least they served it quite literally on a silver platter with lovely porcelain teacups. Whereas in a hotel in the United States, they're going to give it to you in a freaking paper cup. No porcelain, and certainly no silver platter. Anyway, an actual silver platter. Oh, maybe it was just silver plate, but it was lovely. And this was multiple hotels, not just one. Go to Canada. They have you think that the American standard of living is so high, and see they're tearing down the Canadians. And by the way, Canada, Australia, because they're federal, they're basically domiciled in Washington, D.C. or in Delaware. Their corporations also. All the Five Eyes are. Well, except for Canada, except for United Kingdom, which still owns the other 4 Five Eyes. Okay. But I digress. So anyway, I am the living, breathing, the living, breathing soul who has the superior claim to the internationally protected private man/person, Rogers Ben Hosea. And I put that in title case, and then in parentheses, I put Rogers Ben Hosea in, in parentheses. And by the way, it's Rogers, comma, Ben Hosea. No colon. We're not doing parse syntax here. It's just Rogers Ben Hosea. The way you'll see it on your driver's license, for the most part. They make you the creditor, right up until the time it's time to do anything else. That's why they make you pay insurance, because you've registered the car, and if they don't want to take any liability whatsoever, they make you have usufruct. And usufruct when you do usufruct. So you register your guns, you got usufruct for those guns. They can come take them anytime. Right? They're trying to say red flag laws and this and that. Oh, if you actually understood what you did, they already, if you registered, they know where they are, and they're going to come and get them one day. And like I've said numerous times here in Hawaii, I know many people that have guns, and they ain't registered. They're smart enough not to register their guns. Right? And I'm talking about upcountry, just guys that go hunting, guys that use that gun to kill deer or pigs or whatever. And they got it from their daddy, who got it from their daddy. And they don't, I've seen some great, really freaking antique guns, but they still fire because the old guns were made well. Let's see here. Once again, I digress. Okay. I am the living, breathing soul who has the superior claim on the internationally protected private man-person, Rogers Ben Hosea, who is doing public business as the person Ben H. Rogers / Ben Hosea Rogers, in all caps, which is the individual business entity / trade name doing business in the United States Democracy Service Corporation and internationally. I am authorized to represent Ben H. Rogers, and the H comes with a period, / Ben Hosea Rogers in the public. And then there's my picture, and then there's my fingerprints, and then you put your DNA. Many people put blood, but there are several places, like the place that I was just at today, the clerk won't accept a piece of paper with blood on it, and there's a big freaking sign that says, we don't take blood. Okay, they don't like blood. So what you do is you take a little piece of your hair, and I saved my hair from this haircut, and put it under a piece of tape, and make it sterile so that they don't have the hair sticking out of the sides of the tape. Make sure it's all under the tape. That's your DNA. Now, you can do one that you keep for yourself that has a bloody fingerprint. Just prick your finger and put the blood. And actual blood, not just a red ink stamp pad, because you want your DNA on this thing. And then, without prejudice, in accordance with Mark 10:19. Shall I read Mark 10:19? Let's read Mark 10:19. Let's see here. Go from Ephesians, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Bless the beds that you sleep on. There's Mark. I want 10. I love this King James Bible online. And then over here is 10:19, 13, 14, 15, 16. Actually, you know what? Well, yeah, let's just do 10:19. Go. Let's see here. 10:19. Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Defraud not. Honor thy father and mother. That's it. Pretty straightforward there. So anyway, this is signed in accordance with that. Which part of it? The part where you don't bear false witness and the part where you defraud not. This document is not fraud. That's me. That's my DNA. Those are my fingerprints. Those statements are true, to the best of my knowledge and belief. And then by witness, and then you can put the witness's name if you want to get there, but I'm not sure who's going to sign mine, so I just put claimant is known to me, period, copyright/copy claim, and the date. And they're going to sign it last name first, and if they get really clever, they can do last name first, DBA, all caps name. And then two of those, because they talk about the fact in this Bible that you're reading here that you need to have two or more witnesses, but at least two men, not men with wombs, not womb men, but men, go with you or witness for you, because the maxim of law is that the testimony of one shall not be heard. Because if it's one against another, how do you know who has superior claim or who's telling the truth? But if you've got two witnesses and the other guy is just one person saying one thing, and see, here is, am I going to go there? Okay, I'm going to go there, but I'm going to go there in general terms. I have two witnesses that can say that there was a person that bore false witness against me. So I have two witnesses. Against her, none. So just her word. Very naughty to sign under penalty of perjury when you're committing perjury, knowingly and willingly, willfully, to try to get your way because you're a fucking crazy narcissist. All right, by claimant, name holder, right? So the claimant is the name holder. Copyright, copy claim, all rights reserved, without recourse. Learn what those words mean. The bug I'm making videos, so we go ride motorcycle around for make noise. Anyway, okay, so all rights reserved, without recourse, and the date. Okay, and then put your thumbprint, boonk, and then you better have one of these things. So you can put raised seal. Because see, on this lovely document right here that I got from the courts, it has the, you can't see it, but LS, there is the seal right there. It's raised, so you know this is the original document that I got back from the courts. I'm going to make copies, and when I make a copy, I'm going to put LS right there, which is basically stands for here lies the seal. I used to know what LS stands for. I think it's Legis signatures. Right? Anyway, there lies the seal. That's where the signature is. And see, the person that that filed this put her name there, and I got that right there. All right, so they've been noticed. Okay, so if they continue on to their detriment, they know that this is an assumed name and that I'm not the name. And like I said, watch the video below there and tell me what's missing. I should have, what the guy just recorded, and thank you ever so much for doing it, because I'm pretty sure he watches this, although he watches on 2x speed, and I'm sure he's bored by now because I've been blathering on for a whole hour now. But the idea is that if you would have recorded everybody else that came to court that day or today, there was something that the judge always makes you do. And there was one time, if you remember, I put it in there, where I wouldn't do it and they wouldn't proceed. They kicked me out of the courtroom. Today, they never, well, see, I'm going to tell you that. Let's see if we can do it. And then in the next video, I'll tell you what the thing is. We'll have a little raffle for who can tell me what's missing. Anyhow, all rights reserved without recourse. Huge. Better than Without Prejudice UCC 1308. All rights reserved. You reserve all your fucking rights, and they have no recourse against your rights. Those rights were given to you by God. No man gave you rights. No piece of paper gives you rights. God Almighty, creator of the fucking universe, gave you your rights. Okay. 100 Monkey Story Time getting long, and I got plenty more to go. I got way more document than that. I could read you this, and then I could read you judicial notice that I gave them that they just struck from the record. But I have my judicial notice has the file stamp, and they didn't strike it for the record. So that for 30 days, he was noticed. Naughty, naughty. Okay. And what I'm probably going to do is be nice about it, settle out of court, or have them settle. And you know what, motherfuckers? You guys, I know you're watching this. You guys can use my estate. You can take it out of my trust. Pay me out of my own fucking trust. Or we can tap bonds. Your bonds. Bid bond, payment bond, performance bond. That was the third P. Bid bond, and they all pretend like, well, bonds? What bonds? We don't know about any bonds. We're talking about bonds. We never write any bonds. Yeah, you do, and I found them. Because there's QSIP numbers, and the QSIP number is the same as the case number. And by the way, if you want to look up my case number, it's right here. It's 2FFC-21-00000320. If you have the ability to do the LexisNexis thing or the, what do you call? I don't give a shit. Go ahead and look at my case number and look it up and see what's in there. You'll find that this document is in there for the time being, and if it's in there for 72 hours, we're good. And if he wants to strike it, you better tell me first. And did I make a motion with this? Hell no, I didn't put a motion in. I just put the documents in. We'll put a motion in a little later after I get some stuff back from the FTC, and then I'm going to motion the court to say, like, hey, I want you to take a look at this. Here's the way to do things. And the way most people do things is to be belligerent and stupid and not know your fucking name. But when you know your name, they don't want to talk to you anymore. And see, it's this one guy, and I'll put links to his site or his channel, and I would recommend you watch all of his videos. And a lot of the stuff he says, it could be me speaking. In fact, you've heard it from me before. He talks about the Phoenicians. He talks about the fact that they're slavers. He talks about the fact, anyway, he was an atheist. He's now a Christian. Because the Satan is here, people. I know lots of people. I have a lovely friend, very beautiful, sweet woman in Canada, but she don't believe that there is a devil or Satan, and she's not very keen on the God thing. But I'm telling you, the Satan is here in the flesh. He be in this place called, and this is where I got in trouble last time, but like I said, in for a penny, in for a pound. The genie go to Geneva in this place called Switzerland. And he is a fire genie. This is his domain. This is the fallen realm. You are in here voluntarily, by the way. Nobody put you here on purpose. Nobody put you here against your will. You came down here to hone your skills, to stand up, to learn how not to be afraid. Bible tells you 1,000 gajillion times in here, don't be afraid. Quit being afraid. God's with you. If God's with you, who's going to stand against you? Quit being afraid. I got to take my own advice because there are times when I get very afraid. But don't be afraid. You came here to do something. Do it. Even if it's just most people that I see that have the near-death experiences, and I've had a couple of my own, and one time I had a near-death experience without dying, and I may or may not talk to this guy about it. I'm going to send him a thing, and I'm going to think about it. But because I had one where silver cord, the whole 9 yards. And as soon as fear crept into the situation, boom, back in the body. But it was so cool for a little while there. It was like really cool. A very interesting experience. And then I had another not near-death experience where when my mom died, my mother came back and visited, and we had a long conversation. I've mentioned this before. I have many witnesses because I told everybody and everything. I didn't tell them about the whole experience, but my mom actually gave me a couple of things so that people wouldn't say that I was crazy, because she knew that people would say you're crazy. Because back then, near-death experience, you didn't talk about them. Now, they're all over YouTube, and everybody's got a near-death experience, and maybe, okay, that wasn't me that was dead. It was my mom that was dead. And she was there just like I'm talking to you right now. And then at some point I went, wait a minute, you're dead. And she just laughed. Because you ain't dead. Because you're an immortal soul. You're here forever and ever and ever. And ever and ever. You can't get out of this. Because you can't be killed. You can't be cut with a knife. You can't, you can't be drowned in water. You can't be crushed with a rock. You can't be shot with a gun. You can't be burned with fire. The only thing that can be is this thing that you inhabit. Other than that, and you come back for more. Over and over again. There's a whole thing about reincarnation, and we're not going to go there because this book, they took reincarnation out of here, even though there are a few clues and hints. But we're the only culture on the face of the earth, basically, that doesn't believe that you're here over and over again. And every time you come back, they wipe your memories, and you come back and learn more. And by the way, they just kicked it up to expert mode. So I spent my whole life up until the last couple of years on total easy cruise mode. I mean, more money than I knew what to do with. Had the women, had the cars, had the houses, had the all that shit. And very not fulfilling, I'm telling you. Although I have to say it was easier than this. But the point being that you don't get any spiritual growth when you're playing Monty Hall D&D, right? You can get experience points, but yeah, no. Right? Because I know a lot of Monty Hall DMers. And, the reason I mentioned D&D is because, interestingly enough, on my walk today, and it's purple and everything. There's just a very odd thing. I found this 12-sided die on the side of the road. Okay, there's a reason why I mentioned D&D. One is because when you're playing Monty Hall D&D, in other words, your dungeon master gives you all kind of gold and swords and so forth, usually you don't get experience for that. Right? Because in a lot of, and see, this is the thing. Every dungeon master plays differently. So every courtroom, when you walk onto that ship, when you walk into that space, when you walk into United States Corporation, because that's United States Corporation, they own it. Well, they rent it usually. They don't really own it. They lease it, and you step into it, and you think it's a courtroom, and it's not. It's a private business association doing private business because they're private. And I think I went over the 12 presumptions. I may do that again on another video. But anyway, I found this 12-sided die, and it just reminded me that I was walking into a judge's courtroom, and he gets to play how he wants. That's his courtroom, right? Everybody plays D&D a little differently. We all have the same, Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual and so forth. And, there's various rules. You can be playing AD&D. You can be playing... the latest version. Anyway, a combination of the two. Some guys like the weapon systems, and some guys like the way, initiatives and so forth. Anyway, every D&D, every DM plays their game a little differently than every other DM. Okay, every judge, same thing. The judges, they don't have to, and I've seen the cases where they basically say, we don't have to play by those rules. Go watch, just got a notification, the Pirates of the Caribbean, where basically they tell you it's like guidelines. I had a friend that put in the judicial maxims or the canons for the judiciary of the state of Hawaii, and they basically came back and said, we don't have to follow those. I just told them straight up, screw you. Who the hell you think you, slave? We do what we want. You're the slave. We're not the slave. Until such time as you tell them they're not a slave. And like I said, this one piece of paper, this piece of paper, and this piece of paper, look how thin this is. Okay, it's not the paper. It's here. You change here. You change your mind. You realize, hey, I don't want to be in voluntary servitude anymore. I'm not a volunteer. I'm not volunteering. Grandma always said, don't be a fucking joiner. Right? One of the rare times I hear my grandmother use the F word, but don't be a fucking joiner. I think, and that comes from, and who said it again was, not Luke Skywalker, the other guy, Han Solo. Don't be a joiner, kid. Not a joiner. I ain't joining the Republic. Ain't joining the, okay, and that's another thing. And then I'm going to call this a day. that whole thing about the Republican form of government and the whole thing about you don't like your government, you have the right to change it. You're thinking that it has to be your whole state and everybody and all your buddies and friends and family and so forth and cohorts and confidants and hangers-on. No, it can just be you. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not part of this democracy. Okay, I opt out. I'm not going to be a voluntary servant anymore. I know my name. My family name comes first, even though I was trained from slave days from 5 years old that you're not Ben Hosea, you're Ben Rogers. No even middle name. You're not Rogers Ben, for sure, for fuck sure. You're Ben Rogers. Ben Rogers, very common name. Rogers Ben Hosea, not so common. Right? Family, and haven't you always been told family comes first? God, country, family? Or wait a minute, God, family, country? Get it in the right order there. Okay, so your family comes first. And your family isn't part of this. So they shouldn't be throwing around Mr. Rogers. Or Mr. whoever you are. Or Mrs. No. The Mr. is under the Esquire. Again, you're the lowest on the totem pole. You're the lowest employee. Cops are higher up than you. Any elected official is up than you. Even appointed officials are higher than you. They're officials. You're just a slave. You're just the cog in the wheel. You're just the Duracell. And they take your energy. I have one son that's figuring out because, wait a minute, he's paying taxes. Well, he's going to get it all back because he's a minor, but at the same time, they're still withholding it, so they get a free loan for however long it takes them to get the money back. Okay, so what they figured out is don't take all the slaves' money because they get pissed off. If you take all their labor and all this stuff, and on top of that, if they're 100% your slave, then you got to feed them, and if they get sick, you got to take care of them, or you can develop some karma there, and you don't want that. Actually, there's no karma, but at the same time, you might feel bad. Your conscience will make it be that you should make that right later, right? So what you want to do is not be a voluntary servant. Simple as that. Okay, so opt out. And you don't have to opt out with everybody. And it doesn't take a huge amount of paperwork. And again, it's here, it's here, it's here. Right? 5% paperwork, 95% knowing what the fuck your paperwork says. And don't put anything, you cut and pasters, don't screw it up for everybody else. Don't go in there if you don't know what your paperwork says. Simple as that. And you got to know it from memory. Okay, I'm done. Take it easy, Crime Stoppers. E pluribus unum. That's why I use this right here, because it says E pluribus unum on there, the eagle. It's also on the back of that silver dollar. And I'll talk to you later. Educate self, educate others. And I'll be doing another one that's a little less disjointed than this shortly. All right. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you all later. Thanks for all the likes, and we'll talk soon.